Y'all ready? Everybody ready? Everybody ready? There it is. Excellent. Well, welcome Instagram. You're there. Are we live? It's going. Sweet. Facebook. Come on. Well, we have a huge storm rumbling around right now. Lots of lightning. Not a lot of rain yet. So if we lose power, it was great seeing y'all. And I might tune back in. I don't know. We're going to hopefully get through all this. But welcome to Throwback Thursday, number 2. Silence in between. It's 12 a.m. and the church bell reminds me that I walk these streets alone. It's not each ring that hurts, but the silence in between every solitary tone. And the cracks in the sidewalk, late lights in each window tall. He's telling me why I miss your sweet, sweet smile. The center of town with a few side streets and me, but nothing much in between. One traffic light, and in the dead of the night I can hear you turn from red to green. And it's a moment like this silence feeds loneliness, and everything I see makes me think of you. And if I said I love you, would it be too soon? 'Cause timing is everything in this old familiar tune. And I would spend my life underneath the wandering moon. If every time I said goodbye, I could come back home to you. Come back home. This little town fights the end of the day by throwing light into the sky. From 2nd Street, I watch the steeple light you up, turn off and say goodnight. It's speaking to me, to the stars that I now can see, telling us that it's our time to shine. And if I said I love you, would it be too soon? 'Cause timing is everything in this old familiar tune. And I would spend my life underneath the wandering moon. Every time I said goodbye, I could come back home to you. Yeah. Come back home. I'm sorry to call so late. I know you were sleeping, but this could not wait. To let the silence give me no choice. I had to break it, I had to hear your voice. And if I said I love you, would it be too soon? 'Cause timing is everything in this old familiar tune. And I would spend my life underneath the wandering moon. And every time I said goodbye, every time I said goodbye, every time I said goodbye, I could come back home to you. Come back home. Come back, come back home. Come back, come back home. Come back 2000. It was a good year. A lot of these songs were actually written in 98, 99. And I wrote this next one for some friends, the Runyons, Nick and Diana, who invited me to play their wedding, which is always a huge honor to be able to go and play someone's wedding. And this song, I've heard from a lot of folks that this song was played at their wedding, which is awesome. I wrote it on the airplane to Seattle, and that's not really good when you've committed yourself to writing a song and you're writing it on the airplane on your way to someone's wedding ceremony. And it's the day you're getting there is also the rehearsal dinner, so you don't have a whole lot of time. And reading through journals, I actually found that the idea for the song came from, I think, an Oswald Chambers quote, and I don't have it. I couldn't find it because I've been reading so many journals that I was up to like 12, 15 reading my writings from 98 and 99, and they were all very sad. But there was a lot of joy there too. I'm going to share some of those tonight. But I remember asking Nick and Diana, it's always a joy, as I said, to play someone's wedding. And so I asked them to email me, because email had just happened at this point. And I said, email me sort of some thoughts about the other and about sort of how you came to fall in love. And so they did. I just, I asked them to be honest and vulnerable, and they did, and that was awesome. And so I took sort of some of those thoughts. And I remember my friend Nick saying, he said, when you get married, I will actually be more free than I am now. And as a 28-year-old, incredibly self-absorbed musician, I had no idea what he was talking about. But having been married 15 and a half years now, yes, I think I'm just getting the hang of it and what that means. So I want to play this for my friends, the Elliots, too, who are watching in Colorado. I think it's their anniversary tonight, and they're having a quiet dinner with me in the background. And I think vaguely remember that maybe the first time they saw me play was this exact same day, a whole bunch of years ago, on their anniversary. So happy anniversary to you guys. I am the bread, you are the wine. We are meant to be broken, share our lives like fruit from the vine. With these words that are spoken, blessing. And giving in to the truth, then we are each other's blessing. No mountain is too high, no valleys too low, no water is too wide for this love to go. For this love to go. There is freedom in you. There is strength in confessing and giving in to the truth. Then we are each other's blessing. Yes, we are each other's blessing. You're each other's blessing. I am the bread, and you are the wine. We are meant to be broken, broken. Yeah. All right.
Kim Glenn said, so you've played in a lot of weddings, but how many did you have a bug fly in your mouth while you were
Kim, my friend from high school. Hey, nice to see you. That's one of my favorite stories to tell. Kim playing in a wedding in the Cape of the Cod, and it was really hot, and there was no air conditioning whatsoever. And usually I will not let the bride and groom pick the song, but I let my friend Kim pick the song, and it was James Taylor, "You've Got a Friend." Great song. Come on, right? Great song. Great song. If you're James Taylor playing it. So I decided, as I often will do when asked to play covers, and try to kind of make them my own as much as possible. And no one plays James like James, and so sometimes it's better just to sort of put down your guitar and not even try. So said the mid-20s, late 20s singer-songwriter, probably lazy. And I love playing weddings. It's always my goal to kind of make as many people cry as possible, and so I usually will get up there because it's the one moment in a very short period of time where it's a few minutes where everyone kind of can just take a deep breath and engage what's happening and not have to think so much. And so that's my cue to kind of take that moment, and I'll work my way down
the bride's side of the family and just kind of look at each one of them in the eye just to try to make them cry, and then I go down the groom's side of the family. That did not happen for this particular wedding, as Kim will recall, and it was so hot, and it was this church on the Cape. There was no breeze at all. The windows were the kind that kind of opened like this, which don't do anything, not the kind of ones where when it sort of opened like this, and so there was no air flowing whatsoever. And I didn't have my guitar, and I was like, I got this. It's going to be a beautiful moment. I'm going to sing You've Got a Friend a cappella, no guitar. It's going to be sweet. And as I was going, I deeply regretted that decision. And I saw a moth that was flying around the little chapel. And sure enough, I was watching it instead of focusing on what I was doing. And that moth, on one of the moments where I had my mouth wide open, went straight into my mouth and straight down my throat, leaving all of its powdery, feathered wing dust just down my throat. And that was when I wished that I had my guitar to play a nice instrumental while I swallowed him and choked through. But I didn't have it, and so I cut out a little bit early, and I went straight to the chorus, and I got it out of there as fast as I could, and I'm sorry for that, Kim. I apologize. I don't think I've ever apologized for that, but I apologize now. And the best part about it was nobody really knew, and one guy came up to me, no joke, at the reception. I felt horrible, actually. One guy came up to me at the reception and said, "Man, that was so beautiful." I said, "Thanks." And he said, "But I got to ask you a question." He said, "Did you get choked up?" And I said, "Why, yes, sir, I did." Very, very much so. That was good. Never will I sing an a cappella song at a wedding ever again. So this record was made in the end of 1999 and in the beginning of 2000. And we started in mid-November, November 15th to be exact. And we did part of it in Woodstock, New York, at a really amazing drummer named Jerry Murata, who played with Peter Gabriel and the Indigo Girls at his studio. And then we went back to LA and recorded the rest there with my friend David in his garage. And so I was reading through some things last night, and so I'm going to read a few funny things from that time. November 15th, 1999, journal entry. Albany, New York, Borders Books, killing time before I go to pick up David at the airport. We begin recording tomorrow at Jerry Murata's place in Woodstock, and I cannot believe it. I still am a little nervous as the process is actually about to begin. And we only have 3 days to get all the drums down, and I don't know why I'm so nervous. I know you have control of the situation, and I do trust you. It's just maybe a little nervous excitement and anticipation. I've done my homework. The songs are ready. The money has been raised. It sort of feels like I haven't done this before because it's been so long. Maybe I should make it a point never to do this again in terms of time in between recording albums. So next time I won't forget how it feels. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time to begin this new process and journey. God be with me as I walk through it. Comfort me, help me hear, see, and communicate clearly. Not to back down in fear, but to stand sure. Make this album what you want it to be, beyond anything I could imagine or desire. It is yours, and I give it to you. Wrapped in the loneliness, pretending to be strong. Words comfort as much as a winter's day is long. Alone on the edge as proof that everything I thought I knew was suddenly falling out of view. I heard a voice say, walk to the water, rest on the shore.
my love spill into yours. Walk to the water and fall on your knees. Quench your restless soul by the water and breathe. Silence is surrendered by crossing bridges burned, and your breath is cut shorter. Swimming tides are coldly turned when doubts sink deep, then rise, stirring the depths where passions lie. Breaking the surface of your disguise. Just look into your eyes and walk to the water. Rest on the shore. Let my love spill into yours. Walk to the water and fall on your knees. Quench your restless soul by the water and breathe. Find that which gives you breath, grants you more to give, because life ends not in death, but with what dies inside. Well, we leave. Walk to the water, rest on the shore. Let my love spill into yours. Walk to the water and fall on your knees. Quench your restless soul by the water and breathe. And breathe, breathe, and breathe, breathe, and breathe. There it is. Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Time for that right there, baby. Come on, it still lives.
Go.
Woo!
Shade Up said, "Don't get lost in the weeds."
Don't get lost in the week, people.
The hat is
From this right here.
there. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my son's never seen this picture. It's pretty funny.
Subdued look on your face.
I think I was looking at a sea creature. That's what I was doing. How about this one? This one right here. Yeah, right there for you Insta folks. This I love this picture. My friend Jan took it, Janet Clary, and I love that I still have this hat. Somebody told me once, they said, it's just it helps to be remembered when you wear the same thing all the time. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll find a hat. I can't do this, it's opposite.
There we go. There we go. And so I landed on this hat. I'm not sure why, and somebody should have told me it was a terrible idea. But it was the 80s. No, I guess it was the 90s.
Those Lincoln sings that I'd love to see your attic. It must be a treasure trove.
Oh, yeah, Bill, my attic. But it's clean because it's the COVID time, and I've cleaned my attic.
It's full of treasures.
But it is full of treasures, yes. But wait, back to this, because I warned my mom about this. I didn't hear back from her, so I'm not surprised. But every year we would send out a Christmas card, my family, the Williams family Christmas card. It was always very entertaining, and my dad would use a lot of exclamation points. He was a very quiet man, except when he wrote letters, and he would use a lot of exclamation points. And every year that I would put out an album, it was fodder for talking about it, so that their son would actually make some money. And the friends and family would buy the record if they hadn't heard about it. And so my mom, my sweet mom, Babs McDougal is what we call her, but her real name is Barbara.
Or the Silver Fox.
Or the Silver Fox, as my son Hudson just reminded me, the Silver Fox, we also call her that. She does not like this picture. I'm not sure why. She never really said, and I realized I picked on my mom last concert, and I'm doing it right now again. I apologize, Mom. I already actually apologized, but I'll apologize in person. But she didn't like this so much so that she, for the Christmas card that year, she actually went back to this picture. Do you remember these? This is the cassette that I gave away a whole bunch of because some people bought things on the store, and I still have more. So if you buy anything, here it is. Here you go. Here you go. For you. There it is. There it is. I have more of these in the attic. So if anyone buys anything off of my store, anyone buys anything off my store, I will include a free one-man service station cassette in honor of my mom, who did not like this picture. And so in the Christmas card, she put this picture, even though I had a new album come out. She just said, "It's just too intense. You just look too intense. Too Slavic and intense." I don't know. There you have it. That's the truth right there. November 16th, 1999. Room number 9 at the Woodstock Inn. We just returned from a late night dinner at the Chinese place after a full day of work at the studio. We got a late start because it took a while to get drum sounds. I played the part of the engineer and did what was needed for starting and stopping the 2-inch tape. While Jerry would listen to the roughs in the control room, and then he'd go take a pass while David did his bass parts as well so that they could play together. We started with Empty My Hands, and it took about 2 hours. Every time I said goodbye was next, and it took a while to get that right vibe and the feel with the cut measures. And we did Blessing, each other's Blessing last, and that was thankfully pretty straightforward. Both of these guys are so pro and incredibly thoughtful about the song lyrics and creating the space and thinking about the overall production. I didn't always understand what Jerry was doing, but we let him do his thing and trust that it would be exactly right. Always rewarded for learning every lesson. They said you reap just what you sow. Believe the answer before I knew the question. Now this is all I have to show. So I went stumbling in all the wrong directions, trying to hold on to what I found. But there's no currency in good intentions. Sometimes they only weigh you down. Empty my hands of all the stones I've gathered. Empty my hands of all this weight. Empty my hands, show me what matters. 'Cause there's got to be some other way. How can I erase those wasted years? Recover everything I've missed. I don't know where I should go.
stones I've gathered. Empty my hands of all this waste. Empty my hands, show me what matters. There's got to be some other way. I can't receive if my hands are full of dreams I have denied. I need so much more than to survive. Empty my hands of all the stones I've gathered. Empty my hands of all this waste. Empty my hands, show me what matters. 'Cause there's got to be some other way. There's got to be some other way. There's got to be some other way. Got to be some other way. All right. Thank you. All right, well, it's time.
Yes. Oh, the shirt reveal.
Uh-huh, there it is. Come on.
Short sleeve.
Oh, I know. Isn't it shiny? So I bought this shirt. I'm wearing this shirt tonight because I really wanted to find this sweater right here. This one.
Find it?
I couldn't find it. I'm so bummed. I bought this sweater up in British Columbia at a camp called Malibu, and two of my friends also own this sweater. Craig, I saw your name pass by. Dirksen, tell me that you still have the sweater, because if you do, I'm going to borrow it because it's so warm. But I figured I moved to Nashville. I don't really need it anymore. And I bought this shirt the year after this record, Silence in Between, came out. I hit the road with my dear friend Ellis Paul, who actually sang on Empty My Hands on the recording of The Silence in Between. And so I thought I'd wear it in his honor, and just because it's so shiny. Isn't it so lovely? Shiny.
Dirksen says I still have it, baby.
No, you don't. Come on. No, I looked. I don't have it. I think I actually got rid of it. That's the one thing in this house that I've actually gotten rid of. I want to say thanks to my friend and neighbor Andrew Osenga, who lives up the street, and he loaned me his guitar for tonight. So thank you, Andrew, if you're watching.
Shiny, just like everything.
Yes, shiny. I have two of these shirts. The other one was much more pink, but I went for this one. And I didn't really finish explaining the story, but when we went on the road, Ellis and my friend Don Kahn and I, for some reason, we bought these shirts and we wore them almost every night. And because this is what a folk artist wears, is this type of shirt. And I still have mine because you never know. You never know when you might need a shiny shirt. Don't know how I got here, lost on this back road, but I can't find my way and I can't get back home. Nobody knows directions, though they lived here all their lives. So all I can do is drive and drive and drive. Oh, my lost soul, do you watch me as I go? Is there something mistakes I'll never own. The old man said go left, the trucker said go right, and I'm past the point of caring where I'll end up tonight. The people that I pass all look the same to me. We're all driving, but we're not behind the wheel. Am I a lost soul? Do you watch me as I go? Is there something I don't know? Am I right where I belong? Maybe these mistakes I never own. I'd rather not know where I'm going. Trust that you will show the way. Oh, am I a lost soul? Do you watch me as I go? Is there something I don't know? Am I right where I belong? Maybe these mistakes I'll never own. Maybe these mistakes I'll never own. Maybe these mistakes I'll never own. Come on. Thank you. Wrote that with my friend Sally Barris years ago. It was one of actually, I think, the first songs that I co-wrote here in Nashville before I lived here. And Sally and I wrote a whole bunch of songs together. And I think that's one of my favorites. This is, let me read this entry. From the next day. November 17th, 1999. It has been pretty amazing to hear stories between Jerry and David. T-Bone Burnett stories. Touring stories. Oh yeah, I worked with Paul McCartney stories. And also very cool to hear them reunite after 23 years when they worked together for T-Bone in LA. Today was a slightly rough day as we cruised through Tread Light and then hit a rough patch with Shadow of Your Wings. We spent at least 4 hours on it and Jerry just couldn't find a part that he liked. So we decided to move on and attack Breathe and Ever After. Jerry found this fat groove, but man, it was so simple and in the pocket. And I think this is the song that is going to be a serious hit for this album. Serious hit. I was wrong. Yes. It is the one that is stuck in David's head. It was the one that was stuck in David's head last week. It's great to hear his excitement as he says this album has even more potential than One Man Service Station. Never Wrong came easy, and David wrote this amazing hooky bass part that runs through the whole song, and it took it to the next level. The last song we recorded in the session was Sight to See, and after listening to it a couple times, Jerry just told us to run the tape when he got in there. He recorded a double snare part, and I thought, okay, I guess he's not going to play kit on this one, and it'll really just be guitar and vocal. He came back in and listened and then told us to start the tape again and cue the room mic, and he laid down several shaker parts.
then the hi-hat, then the kick, and these cool tom parts. And I did not honestly get what he was doing, as he was in his own creative space, and it wasn't making any sense to me. As we were listening back after all that, he tweaked one thing on the mix, and bam, it became suddenly clear. The engineer, Harvey, and I were sitting on the couch, and as soon as he tweaked it, Harvey said, "You bastard," as we both got what he was creating. And in that moment, both said, "That is brilliant." The song will forever be changed. That night, to cap off the eventful day, we met up with Tony Levin and some guy named Marty, who both played in Peter Gabriel's band. And I stayed pretty quiet and took it all in, as it was incredible to be in the company of such talent. It was truly inspiring. There I was, just me, little old me. How cool.
Finally, you right, but you're not sure where you should begin. Hoping this finds me well and traveling safe. You call me your gypsy friend. You wish that you still share that wanderer's title with me, but a new job and an old flame keeps you busy learning to love both day to day. You ask me to forgive you. You meant to write me sooner than now. It was good to see me and the boys in that Arizona town. And you're wondering if you will see me in August for your wedding day. And if not, you'll understand, because that is just your way. Am I wrong to love you? Am I wrong to think that you felt the same? Am I wrong to think that you are the one, not just the one who would get away? You thank me for knowing you. It's such a gift to be able to be true and to cry, to really laugh. You always said that I was so good at that. You say that you still can see my hands every time you hear me sing, and you hope I know you still think about me. Am I wrong to love you? Am I wrong to think that you felt the same? Am I wrong to think that you are the one, not just the one who would get away? I wanna lie down and sleep next to you. I wanna wake to the sound of your laughter. I wanted to give you everything and live ever after. Ever after. Ever after. Am I wrong to love you? Am I wrong to think that you felt the same? Am I wrong to think that you are the one and not just the one who can get away? And not just the one who would get away. Yeah, come on, come on.
We got a question from Dirk Fry. I see Michael Manning listed on the CD notes. Did he play bass on any of your tracks?
Yes, Michael Mannering played bass on probably 7 of the 10 tracks. He was one of my heroes. Michael Mannering, for those that you do, I can take that off. It's so hot.
So sweaty over here.
It's so sweaty. Michael Mannering was is an amazing fretless bass player. He played on a lot of my heroes records, Patty Larkin, John Gorka, and all these singer-songwriters. Okay, last. Yeah.
Part of the heat. It's how many shirts you're wearing.
This is my favorite hippie shirt that I still wear that I bought at some folk festival in like 1997. I love it.
That one did not come from the attic.
This is, but all these were in the closet, babe. Because you never know. It no bolo tie tonight. So yes, Michael Mannering today.
We've got 8 more weeks to go.
We do. I'll break that bolo tie at some point. So my friend Michael Mannering, yes, he played on the record and just monstrous. I was sad that we actually sent off the recordings and he did them and sent them back, so I didn't really get to interact and play, be with him while he was playing. But he's something else, that guy. Just a monstrous bass player. What was I saying before that? I don't remember what it was.
Sweaty wearing that hat.
Sweaty wearing the hat. I don't remember. That's all good. It's a song called "Shadow of Your Wings," and it's track. I think what are we track 7, and I just want to show you this again. Yeah. ChristopherW.com/shop, I think, is my website. If you want to buy anything, that would be awesome. And if you're enjoying yourself, please, my wife has posted the tips, tip things, Venmo or PayPal. That would be sweet. I'm unable to be on the road right now and just staying home and doing some things. We're actually doing some really cool things besides these throwback concerts. Every Wednesday, I don't know, some of you are following. But early on, we did this thing where we prayed Psalm 91 for 91 days, and as a part of that, we did online every day at noon, midday worship. Every day at noon, we played 10 to 12 minutes of songs, some old hymns, some contemporary worship songs. And at the end of 91 days, I took a break, and then I realized I needed to have that back in my life, and so I started it back up. You can find your way through my Facebook page, but every Wednesday at noon Central Time, or whenever your midday is, you can tune in, and there's some songs, some old hymns, some liturgy, some scripture, and it's been really a sweet thing to get back into. We've been doing this cool thing, front yard church. In our front yard, we just gather our neighbors together, and it's been a fun, creative outlet. But neither of those outlets actually make me any money. So, and I'm not able to be on the road. So if you're enjoying tonight and want to have the capacity to tip and support me in the 26th year of doing this for a living, just to remember how we looked back then, I'll just wear that for a moment. I would love it. It'd be great. And there's stuff on the store and all that. And next week is 2000. I think it was 2005 release. This one, When I Was Everything, and I'll tell some stories about that. But that is next Thursday. If you know anyone, invite them along. This was a song that I had to wrestle to the ground a little bit. As I was reading through my journals last night, this one came back up that I just tried to finish it. It didn't go smoothly. And it has to do, one of the things that I noticed all throughout my journals, sort of from my mid-20s to early 2000s, was just how insecure I was and what I was doing, and what I was doing it for, and trying to do it for, and what I was looking for. And in some ways I've grown out of that, but in other ways I feel like I haven't. And so it's been sweet to relearn the song, as well as the last one. I haven't played either of these songs probably in 10 plus years. Against the wall in the back of the room, by the door, it's his way out. The coat stays on, his hands stay in his pockets as he moves to your every song. His eyes are fixed upon the stage as his mouth forms every word in perfect time. At the end of each song, he looks around to see if anyone saw him sing every line. It does my soul good to see you, he said. Been a friend to me. Sometimes when that light surrounds you, I lose myself in the shadow of your have closed. He's one of 12, hinging upon your return. You speak the doubt within his eyes, for it ever has a chance to burn. And desperately he reaches out, your two hands embrace his one, and peace be with you falls into his silence as he searches for what your hands have already won.
sometimes when that light surrounds you, I lose myself in the shadow of your wings. If someone believed in me like I believed in you, would I see myself in a better light than I do? And blessed are those who have not seen and yet who believe. What about those who watch from the shadows? From the shadow, from the shadow, it does my soul, it does my soul, it does my soul good to see you. It does my soul good to see you. Thank you. Wow, I used to live in Boston. It was fun to read my journals from those days. And before I lived in the town of Somerville by the Leechmere Car Wash, near Summer Ave. I lived up in a little town called Marblehead, Massachusetts. We're rebooting the Instas. And go. Welcome back. And I lived in a little town in Marblehead. I grew up in New York, and I moved all the way to Seattle because it was the furthest place that I could go. That's when I recorded this one. And remember, freak sets for anybody who orders anything on my website. I'll throw in 2, 3. Just
as many as you want.
write a note in your order, and I'll include them. I'll autograph them too.
Stephen Johnson, your roommate.
Stevie, little Stevie. Stephen Johnson, that's what I called him, little Stevie. Craigie Street. Come on, brother, nice to see you. Where are you right now? Tell me. I'll watch the screen. Man, we lived in Craigie Street in this lime green, terrible apartment that you could hear the wind blow, which was a bad deal in the winter time of Boston. And but before I moved to Somerville, I moved from Seattle all the way to Marblehead, and it's up on the North Shore of Boston, and lived in this amazing house a couple blocks from the beach, 37 Seaview Avenue. And then I moved to Washington with my friends Rollin and Steph, and we lived in this old house that was built in 1754, and that, man, you could hear the wind blow through that too, even more so. Yes, the rent was totally right, Steve. I looked, actually, I think I paid $300 for my apartment in Somerville, which was a steal, but yeah. But when I lived in Little Stevie, that's what I was called. The Dante Club across the street, we'd get to watch all the drunkards fight in the middle of the night. The men's club, it was awesome. It was a good time. But back to Marblehead. I lived at 2 Washington Street. This house that was about 5 feet from the old firehouse in Old Town part of Marblehead. And there's Rollin. I knew you'd be there. Oh, sweet. Hey, Rollin, now you're on the Facebooks. Welcome. I'm about to tell a story about you. And so I lived with my friend Rollin and Steph, and Rollin and Steph are both females, and that was a shame that they had to live with me, the male, and so the house was so close to the firehouse. I mean, it was really, really close. And I don't know how this got designed, but it was 1754, so I'm not sure if the firehouse came first or our little blue house came first. But it was right on the corner, and the back side of the house, firehouse. And our bathroom door, or our bathroom window, actually opened to the firehouse men, their living room, and so you could watch them watching TV while you're sitting on the toilet. And so I thought it was the funniest thing. That was not nice. I thought it was the funniest thing, but I would occasionally open the blinds all the way. And so the girls would go to the bathroom, and they'd sit down, and there's nothing they could do about it because they were looking straight into the living room of the firemen. And yeah. Rollin, if I never apologize for that, I apologize sincerely. What's that? Show of apologies. That was a sweet house, though. It was the kind of house that had the old wood planks that had beams across the ceiling. It had the hook in the fireplace from when they cooked back in the 1700s because they didn't have a stove. And I was going through a season of not writing a whole lot, and as I discovered as I read my journals last night, there were a lot of those seasons where I tried to write and couldn't. So one night there was this massive snowstorm that came in, and I had a pair of cross-country skis from growing up in New York and living across the street from a golf course, and the same golf course that I spoke of last week. And if you didn't get to hear that story, go back and watch that because it's a very, very funny story about my mom teeing off golf balls off the top of our house. It was awesome. But in that particular night, I decided that I was going to chase an idea until I got it, no matter how late it got. And so the snow was coming down, and it was one of those epic snowstorms that Boston gets. And in Marblehead in the wintertime, you can't park on the streets because in Old Town, because the streets were made for carriages, they weren't made for parked cars and traffic, and so you couldn't park on the street. So it was always very deserted in the middle of the night. And so when it snowed, all the buildings, they're all sort of leaning in the first place, but they leaned even more as the snow fell, sort of like they were leaning in on you, and it would be cobblestone streets. And the snow was coming down so hard that I could cross-country ski right through the middle of town because the snowplows couldn't keep up with it. So what I did was I wrote a verse, and I went out on my skis. I came home and I wrote the next part, and then I went back out on the skis. And I did that probably 3 or 4 times before I got to the end of the song. And in the last ski, I ended up out at a place called Devereaux Beach, which is the beach that connects Marblehead to Marblehead Neck, which is where all the fancy people live. And I remember plopping down in a gigantic snowdrift and watching the ocean waves roll in, and it was one of those surreal experiences. And I thought to myself, I live a very good and blessed life, that I get to do this in the middle of the night. It was probably 3 o'clock in the morning. But I chased that song, and this is it. And one of my friends, old friends, Mike Ninnis, who a dear friend from Seattle, one of his favorite movies was Audrey Hepburn. What's it called? Yes, Breakfast at Tiffany's. And she, in that, talks about the deep blues and the mean reds. Yes. My friend Janie, she knows what I'm talking about. And so I always wanted to do something with that, and it felt like this is the right place for that lyric. Because she felt everything so deeply. Back door, shut each window tight. Front door was the only way that I could leave it all behind. I had to find you. I knew that it was time. Every creak in that staircase made me want to change my mind. The door will open, pushing in the deep blues and the mean reds. And in that moment I remembered every single word that you said. Not knowing where you went was like a letter sealed but never sent. And I keep searching, ungrateful for every failed attempt. Tread light on the ground beneath your feet. Let go. Trust you will find what you need. You'll always be like the edge where the water cut cold and fast, where one slip by a jealous heart could erase an entire past. We sat in silence, and for once it was enough for us both. More was said in that moment than any words that I ever wrote. Tread light on the ground beneath your feet. Let go and trust you'll find what you need. Tread light on the ground beneath your feet. Let go and trust you'll find what you need. Then these words fell from my lips as easy as gospel music sings. You knew all along what this journey would bring. What it would bring. Tread light on the ground beneath your feet. Let go and trust you'll find what you need. Tread light on the ground beneath your feet. Let go. Trust you'll find what you need. Oh my gosh, that's a great story. My sweet second cousin Chad said when I was about 10 years old, my dad would play this CD and song for his brother Mitch and I in the convertible Saab, and we always thought that the chorus was Bud Light. Oh my gosh, dude, that's so good. Thank you for sharing that. My wife gave that one away. Bud Light. So good. You've since matured, dude. I don't know about that at all. Ah, that's so good. Thanks, dude. Hilarious. Yeah.
Mitch said on Insta, I was just about to say that.
Oh, I love it. It was always, I always liked writing songs that appeared to be about one thing, but actually was about something else. And that is one of those songs. I wanted it to feel like it was about a girl and chasing after her and all that stuff, but it was actually just chasing after words, chasing after the words that were eluding me for a long time. All right, we got 2 more to go. I'm gonna take my shirt off. No, I'm just kidding.
And there's another.
No, 3 shirts is all I got. This song was a serious wrestling match. It's one of my favorite stories. When I lived in Boston, I used to go up to the White Mountains to hike, and I was in a season when I was writing this record where I would go up every week and I would bring my little book and my little recorder. It had a little cassette in it, teeny little cassette. I think I still have that. And I was working on this song in particular, and I went up for what was going to be like a 5, 6, 7 mile hike, something like that. Up one of the presidential peaks and then back down. But I got up there and there was this sign that said, "Oh, actually, you can keep hiking along the ridge and hit like 3 presidential peaks." And I was like, "Okay, great, I'll do that," because the song was not coming. And I got to the top and I was frustrated, and I felt like I was working on it. And I got to the top and I was like, "This isn't it. This isn't it." And I did the whole hike, and I got back down to the bottom and realized that it actually didn't take you back to the same parking lot that I started in, which was not a good thing. And I was down 93 a little ways, and they should have maybe put that on the sign. If you go this way and you came that way, you actually can get back to that way from this way. But I was grateful because I kept taking stabs at that song, and when I got down to the parking lot, there was an elderly couple there who did not want to give me a ride to my car because I was sweaty and gross, and I understood that. But there was this bike path on the west side of 93, the highway that runs through the White Mountains, and so I sought out on my journey of walking another bunch of miles after I had hiked double what I was planning on, and wouldn't you know that in the flat, not the mountainous up and down and the ridge and the beautiful view, but it was in the flat, paved, avoiding bikers as they were passing by me, that's where the song got finished. I don't have a daughter, but it's called Daughter's Eyes. There is one small tree standing proud in the front yard of our brand new house. That's the only place my daughter can hide. Well, I close my eyes and count. She thinks no one will find her unless she opens up her eyes. She's hiding from something more, with her eyes closed as tight as mine.
On these front steps I can hear my wife singing to the song on the radio, and my daughter starts to quietly laugh as she waits for me to reach zero. The innocence and the trust that she has placed in me should be enough to keep me here. Sometimes I don't always see. Who am I that I should have all this? Who am I to understand all these gifts that have been given, and this grace that pours into my hand? I had spent my whole life struggling for what I thought to be right, and in trying to succeed at that, I seem to have lost sight. Wrapped in my misgivings and fighting the battle to hide where I'd been, she was waiting up with tears in her eyes, saying, "Daddy, please don't leave again." Who am I that I should have all this? Who am I to understand all these gifts that have been given, and this grace that pours to my end? How many times can one man be delivered from the work of his own hand? How many times will I be forgiven and given another chance? Like the prodigal son, when he returned, I was ashamed of who I had become. I had turned my back on my family, like he turned from his father to run. But the father cried tears of joy, pouring grace on the one who realized. Now I feel like both father and son every time I look into my daughter's eyes. Thank you. Well, I've got one more song for you guys. Thank you for hanging in tonight. And man, this has been such a fun journey for me the last 2 weeks, and I'm very much looking forward to kind of continuing on with it. I hope that you'll stay with me through my most recent album, We Will Remember. We got 8 more weeks to go. Some ridiculous pictures coming up of ridiculous hairstyles and wigs and all kinds of other things. In honor of that, I should put this on.
Also, Holland posted a mad emoji.
Oh, Roland did? I'm sorry, Roland.
it's been fun for me to have to relearn a lot of these songs. Half of this record probably I haven't played in 10 or so years, and next week will be when I Was Everything, and after that will be the Christmas album, Unbroken Song. And also, I forgot to mention this, at the end of this, or if you want to do it right now, you can switch over. I actually have an official music page, which I haven't really done anything with, but I think I've maxed out the amount of friends I can have. So sad. On this particular page. But I would love to kind of move all this stuff to the music page. So if you are so inclined to go find the official music page, I don't know how you do that, but you all are smart and probably can figure that out more than I can. That would be awesome to do that. And join me on Wednesdays at noon, Psalm 91. Roland, thank you for forgiving me. I appreciate that. And I'm just going to show this one more time.
How many times?
1996. 1996. Order anything off my store, and I'll give you as many copies as you want. And also, I want to give a shout out to Luke, who is staying up way past his bedtime. We're doing it 9 o'clock Eastern so that it's easier for the 6 o'clock Pacific folks. So Luke, hang in there, buddy. One more song. You got this. I believe in you.
He's also wondering if you play electric guitar.
Luke, I do not play electric guitar. I got a Fender Strat when I was like 18 or 19, and it didn't really go very well. So I stuck with the acoustic. But by all means, you should play electric if that's what you have. I'll send this to my family, especially Chad and Meg. I got to sing this at their rehearsal dinner. The same Chad that said Bud Lights. Bud Light. And also read this last entry from, this is before I went into the studio to record this album. It was September 26th, and it just seems fitting for before I play this song. September 26, 1999. It's 9 a.m., which is way too early for me to be up after going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning this morning. But I awoke with Sight to See in my head. So I pulled it off last night. 160 people paid and 175 to 180 through the doors of Club Passim. And I played 5 new songs in the room. Club Passim is the folk club in Harvard Square where I've recorded 2 live records, and it's by far my most favorite venue. Because I always feel like I need to have at least one new song when I step through the doors and onto that stage. So a couple, let's see, Daughter's Eyes and Sight to See being in the 10-day requirement. I guess I set up rules for myself. I don't know. And Nothing But Good Things were said. A couple of folks mentioned Tears and such. And the first time I played them both in the first show, I couldn't help but feel the same, especially Sight to See. Standing in the back of the room, unplugged and able to look straight into people's eyes, me and the guitar on the same level as the audience, and a funny song presented in a straightforward manner with a message, actually almost a question. Where will you be and will you believe? It was really powerful. I was moved, and I sat in that moment and in that song really sweetly. I laid back almost and just sat in it. So all of these songs have a common theme: lost, longing, struggling, but as folks I know said last night, there is hope in them all. There's a trace of hope that runs throughout them all. The realization, the understanding, that moment of clarity when it does all come together and point to something more, and that it will be all right. Not necessarily solved, but all right. That thread is an important thread for people, and thinking about this next album, I need to continue to work with that concept. Although it seems to be there without my trying. How thankful for that I am. I pray that you will continue to give me hope and deliverance from feeling lonely and confused. And that I would continue to see these songs as gifts, validating my summer of hardship. You are patient with my journey and my often lack of focus, turning all of it into songs of hope that will lift people and challenge them while they are being lifted.
they were a sight to see. The first time they met was one of those times that neither of them will forget. Cold hands and colder feet, stepping over words carefully, trying so hard not to say the wrong thing. Now he was a sight to see at her front door, not wanting to say goodnight, but not saying much more. Smiling graciously, but tired of waiting patiently, she leaned in and she said, "When are you going to kiss me? When it all comes together, where will you be? And will you believe? Will your eyes be open? 'Cause it will be, yes, it will be a sight to see." She was a sight to see in her white gown, smiling as wide as the river of tears running down. Him in those black shiny shoes could barely keep still, and everyone in the chapel couldn't help but smile as well. When it all comes together, where will you be? And will you believe? Will your eyes be open? 'Cause it will be, yes, it will be a sight to see. And all of these moments we should be thankful for. They give us direction and they point to something more. When it all comes together, where will you be? And will you believe? Will your eyes be open? 'Cause it will be, yes, it will be a sight to see. It will be, yes, it will be a sight to see. Sight to see. Amen to that. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. And jump over to that music page if you're not on there, for those folks on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for following along. And we'll do it again next week with When I Was Everything, the wedding album. We'll just call that the one I wrote realizing that I was about to get married. That's why it's called When I Was Everything. One more time. Here are those cassettes. Just kidding. Hey, be well, stay healthy, be kind to one another, and thanks for coming along on the journey with me. We'll see you next week.